вот свою, значит, презентацию, да, тему. Так, я беру тут, только оставлю себя. Okay. All right. So I'm switching to English since some of the people who will be listening it also English speaking. And today I'm gonna share this class with you. This is not like, you know, my class is not like I'm the all-knowing authority, right? And I'm just teaching this class. Those are like my explorations, my thoughts, what I've learned on this journey to what I've learned about, like, what is it magnetic woman? What is it? What makes someone magnetic or attractive? What is this, the quality of attraction? What is it? So a little bit about me. Most of you, I think, in this class don't know me. I am a licensed psychotherapist, so I practice in the state of California. I studied in the US mostly, and I moved to America from Belarus when I was 18. So that was 20 years ago. So most of my life I'm, here. And I struggled a lot. I went through depression, anxiety. I was very disconnected from myself. And then through doing a lot of inner work, got myself into this good place where I'm now offering some teachings to people and basically helping people heal on a very deep level. And what I want to share about my journey regarding this class is that I disconnected from my feminine side or energy very early on, because like many of you, I was born in a culture that I think is pretty male chauvinist culture. And as a young girl, I always got this message that, it wasn't like a conscious message. It was more like a subtle unconscious message that somehow being a girl, it's not that, I'll never be as powerful. My only way to succeed in life is to marry rich. And it's like, maybe it wasn't very conscious, but I certainly got that message that it's like, it's the word is a little less favorable to women, or women are just a little inferior to men. And so I decided that I'm going to be like a man. I'm going to really show the world that I am very much like a man. And so I started to develop a very masculine energy identity. I was very smart. I had good grades. I was very intellectual. I disconnected from my feelings. So I said, okay, emotions are not for me. So I'm going to be really, really, really masculine, which is thinking, more doing, success, achievement oriented. And then that didn't lead me in a good relationship patterns, because what I saw happening, and now reflecting on that time of my life, I saw that I attracted constantly very feminine man, because I was so much in my masculine. There's a law of polarity operating in a relationship, and the law of polarity says that opposites attract. So opposites, meaning that if you are more in your masculine energy, you're going to attract more feminine energy man. And if you are more in your feminine energy, you're going to attract more masculine energy man. And that's just how it works. It's not like, I'm not saying we should be in feminine energy. Maybe some of us enjoy being masculine energy, and it's fine. But it's just so you understand how it works, and how it works in dating and kind of attraction game, right? So until I started working with my own feminine energy, really connected to my femininity, and embracing that side of me, I always attracted kind of feminine men. And right now, I really enjoy that balance. And even with my husband, who's very, sometimes he can be very masculine, but even with my husband, I see that shift. The more in my feminine, the more he actually comes into being the masculine. And I love it. And I started really appreciating it and really enjoying it so much that I'm like, why, I'm in my masculine, I can be at work. Even when I teach, it's like more masculine, but then I want to come home and be a woman, and I found it really enjoyable for me lately. And so this class came about because of a lot of my clients struggle with that. I guess I tend to attract women who also struggle with their feminine energy. So I get a lot of requests of like, okay, how do I connect to my feminine energy more? How do I become this like attractive in dating so I can have a lot of people to choose from, right? Because that's how I feel like that should be this way. It's like a woman, she's attracting all the suitors, and then she's the one who then chooses like, okay, well, this one's she has a pool of people who are interested in her, and then she chooses the one that the most, the competing for her hands kind of example. And I'm also, I am in the process of preparing a program for single women who are in the process of dating, and in preparation for that and spreading the word about it. I'm also gonna doing this class to show what we're gonna do in this program, which is to work a lot with this topic of feminine and masculine polarity. And that's gonna start in August, and I'm gonna talk a little more about it throughout the class. So let's look at this chart here. And by the way, welcome to, I'm gonna chat your responses, but this is just kind of the feminine masculine qualities. We live in a dual world. We have everything is like in pairs, right? So we have this yin yang energies, different energies, and they have different qualities. So one energy is very strong, control, focus, powerful, centered. It's like loves a challenge, competition. So all those things that you read here, right? It's like needs admiration and appreciation. Those are sort of masculine qualities. So a lot of times we're like that at work, right? We need to be focused. We need to purpose driven. We need to tackle a challenge, and then it's very powerful to be this way when we need to get stuff done, which makes sense. But then feminine qualities are more about being free and flowing and open and radiant and being in your heart and feel, and then nurturing, mothering, and it's more diffused energy, and it's also the ability for us to trust and surrender and let go. So the way I often feel it is like masculine energy is like forward energy. It's like this, and feminine is like leaning back, kind of like leaning back. So you can play with it just now, just feel like, okay, how am I feeling right now? Where I'm more today, for example. And if you're at work, you might be more like, okay, need to get stuff done. Let's move through this. And that's very normal. So we can note that. So perhaps it's just my view, because I work with, like I mentioned, I work with a lot of women who are disconnected from the feminine energy, who are very much in the masculine. And so I always reflected on like, why do so many people do that? Because it kind of feels really good to be with your feminine once you're really connected to it. But so many of us have really hard time getting there. It's very much masculine energy word, I think. So when I those are my theory, but I still feel like we live in very patriarchal world, and patriarchy always values masculine principle over feminine. And at work, so I used to work at a corporate job before I became a psychotherapist. And I hear someone, can you guys just check that you muted? Thank you. And last time, yeah. And last time, I worked in finance and accounting before becoming a psychotherapist. And I worked at corporate America. I worked at Ernst & Young and Google, so big companies. And the work culture, of course, is very masculine driven, right? It's like, it's all about mind, logic, doing, accomplishing things. So that's just, unless it changed, I don't know. It's very much driven by those masculine principles and qualities, and they are still valued over feminine. So when we know that, when we feel that, we start disconnecting from our feminine energy, and we start ourselves, it's called internalized patriarchy, when we ourselves start to feel that we need to disconnect from our feminine to be valued, to achieve, to be powerful. And that's what I see this happening. And fortunately, in the last 10 years or so, I really saw the feminine rising, and so many feminine leaders came in the feminine, and that's what I see. And I don't know if you guys see the same pattern, but that seems to be my experience. But this disconnection, it's gonna start from very early on. It's like passed down through generations. If your mom wasn't really connected, she wasn't really valuing her femininity, then it's harder for the daughter then to also value her own femininity. So what is this magnetic woman, and what is it that creates this attraction? So that's basically, feminine energy is naturally magnetizing and attractive, because it's like this leaning back and pulling, kind of like pulling, even if you feel like, kind of like what our organ, right? Like your vagina is kind of like, it's like sucking in, pulling in. So that's the energetic movement of kind of feminine energy. It's like attracting, pulling to it what it desires. So it's not like this masculine principle. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna do things to achieve it, right? And feminine energy is like, okay, I desire it, and I'm gonna magnetize, like pull it to myself. And men do feel that. So they feel that pull energetically from a woman in her feminine energy. And she might be, so it's not about looks, because you probably all know a person who's by conventional beauty standard is like average, but then there's something about her that's very attractive and magnetic. So a lot of times women, we focus on beauty and how we look, which is, of course, beauty is also part of feminine kind of qualities, but this is different from beauty. This is like it's energetic. It's like energetic pull. And yeah, and this is, like I said, leaning back, kind of receiving, pulling towards itself. And it's very trusting and surrender. It's like this letting go, big part of it, letting go of needing to control, needing for it to be a certain way. That's a big part of this feminine energy, magnetism. And sexual energy is like a fuel for that. So it's very important for women really embody that is to connect to their sexual energy, because it's like a big aspect. It's what fuels feminine energies, that sexuality is just what creates the fuel for it. So sexuality is another one. It's another big topic that I love talking about, because I feel like that's what's been, for a lot of women, that's been missing. We disconnect from our sexuality again very early on, and patriarchy and religion really suppresses sexuality. Really, we tend to believe it's dirty, or it's disgusting, or like it's all those beliefs are projected onto this desire to control feminine sexuality because it's so powerful, and all these beliefs about it's a sin, and it's like that if we have that, if we internalize, it's very hard for us to connect to our sexuality and just really feel this energy as our raw and primal force, instead of it being something that we have to do. It's like, oh, men love sex, so it's something we have to do. That's a very sad, I find it very sad that we a lot of times feel that it's like a chore or something we have to do to please another, but we can't really enjoy it and really open up our own sexuality. And I remember when I started doing this work, and I haven't, I'm pretty new to this myself, like maybe 5 years ago, I started learning about this and doing this work. And I remember how like I couldn't feel my vagina, my sex organ, right? It's just, we're so disconnected from it, and it's so numb that we can't use it as our source of power. It's just, we're so disconnected in our bodies from it. And we also have this Madonna horse split in our world, and it's basically that, like, once we either like the saint, the mother, once we become mothers. I have 2 little ones, so that definitely I felt that happening once we become mothers, and it's this idealized image that religion put on a pedestal, and then we can't then, oh, I put whole, but I meant whore. That's a Freudian typo. Yeah, I meant whore, meaning like sexuality is then demonized and put in something dirty, like, oh, Madonna is this pure mother, and then the sexuality needs to be suppressed, and that happens a lot as well. But really, the sexuality is such a powerful force that women have, that we each have this, each one of us have this beautiful fountain of pleasure and power inside our bellies, where uterus is. And then if we connect to it, we can life becomes more pleasurable, you have more power at work, you become more attractive and magnetic to men, if you choose that. But you can also you can just basically, you own that power, so you decide what you do with it and how you want to channel it. You can create with this power, you can create children, you can create projects. It's your creative force. So another piece that I work with a lot for women is our relationship with our bodies. And that's a big one, because we can't really enjoy sexuality if we don't love and accept our body. And that's actually something related to, for a lot of women, it's related to our relationship with our mothers. So in like family constellation work, we say there's this idea or thought that if you don't accept your body, you have trouble, like there's something in your relationship with your mother. So body represents feminine energy and body and mother. And actually, that's part of what we're gonna do in the 5 months program that I mentioned, is that we're gonna really look into sexuality and your relationship with your own body, so you can really start enjoying this piece instead of well, however, a lot of women are very critical of their bodies. It's just not, it's like it doesn't feel good. It's like trying to control it, like diet or a very strict regimen. And it's just, I feel like it's our right to just enjoy our bodies, feel good in them, love them, enjoy their shape, and just like embody ourselves, really coming to our bodies. And that's a good time to take like a mindfulness break and just let's just all feel our bodies right now. What are you noticing about your body? You can like put your feet on the floor. Just really take a deep breath. Just like a little experiential. How's your body feeling today? What is it like for you to be in your body? What is it like for you to just say something nice to your body right now? Like, thank you for caring, for being the vessel of this energy. Just notice that you're safe to be in your body. And there are different ways for you to work with. I know it's kind of like one of my favorite topics. Again, it's because I was so disconnected from my body for a long time. So I love talking now that I'm connected and I feel my body and enjoy the movement. I love talking about it because a lot of us like live right here in our head. That's what I lived there for a long time. Oh, but just notice how does it feel to be in the body. That's pretty good. So another kind of one of my favorite topics is Lilith, who's also a wild woman. So Lilith is it's an archetype, meaning it's like a collective energy. I don't know how many of you are familiar with archetypes, so we'll try to put it in a simple kind of terms, but it's basically like, how there's a mother archetype, meaning there's a mother kind of like energy that comes onto you and you feel very nurtured if you have kids, and or if you don't, you might have it. So it's like a certain like kind of energetic state. Or there's a warrior archetype. It's like when you like ready to fight someone. So it's a certain energy, kind of like a collective energy. And Lilith she's the first wife of Adam. So she's mentioned in the Bible, I think once or twice, but she's the first Adam's wife, and she was made equal to him. And she was made out of earth, just like him. So she represents a woman who hasn't submitted to the patriarchy, because she just hasn't. She actually, they tried to subjugate her to patriarchy and she left. She's like, nope. Well, she was expelled from paradise. So she represents like a raw female power, sexuality, equality. She knows she's equal, and she's what has been lost in patriarchy. And lately, this archetype has been really waking up in the world, which, I certainly experienced. And how is she related to this class is that she's the master seductress. So she's the one who seduces. She knows how to seduce and no man can resist her. She's a very, very master. She's a master at that. And the good news is that she's accessible to every woman. So if you want to open up to Lilith, she's also called Wild Woman, but you can actually start cultivating this energy in you. She's also she also about sexuality, and she's also about power and wisdom, but she's like a raw primal force. If you know Kali, she's a similar, little different, but similar kind of forceful, wild, feminine archetype. So those archetypes, we can call in those archetypes, we can awaken them. And the way we feel practically, we start feeling this energy in our body. So that's a fun thing to play with. And I know I hope it doesn't sound really esoteric, because I'm very practical in my approach. I only want to talk about things that like work on this practical level in relationships, something very real. But it's kind of hard to sometimes feel the reality of those archetypes if we haven't experienced it. So, and Lilith, I definitely want to include it in the program that we're going to do. And because I feel like it's just she's such a gift, this energy, this archetype. She's really powerful. And she helps you also feel your power and sexuality and seduction. So I guess if you were to take one thing out of this class, what I would hope for everyone is that maybe this question about, okay, how do I connect? What is my relationship with my feminine energy? So you can maybe even write something down, or just right now reflect on, so what is my connection with my feminine energy? Am I more in my masculine or in my feminine? And if I want to be more magnetic, more attractive to men, if I want to attract more masculine men, how can I start fostering this relationship with my feminine energy? How can I open up my femininity? What are the blocks? What are the beliefs that I have about it? What comes up to me if I imagine myself, I don't know, coming home tonight and putting up some music and dancing and really feeling my body and feeling my emotions? How's that for me? What comes up for me? Because as women, we all have obviously feminine energy, right? There's a reason I believe we were born in a feminine, in a woman's body. I feel like my reason why I was born as a woman is to embrace my feminine energy, because most of my conscious life, well, until I was about 25, I was definitely more in my masculine. And then the process has started. So I feel like for me, it's such a gift to know what it's like not to be connected to my feminine, and now being quite connected and really enjoying it and really embracing it, and helping others to connect to their feminine energy so they can also enjoy it. So I put some practical ways you can start doing this today, tomorrow, when you're ready, when you want to do it. And probably number one that I love and really works is spending really quality time with other women, but not like with a toxic femininity, which is kind of like maybe gossiping, or, well, gossiping, it's not really toxic, but maybe it's not as nurturing for me. Like more connecting with women, doing like women's circles, or even going to on a retreat and just spending time with women. You can go out to nature. So nature is feminine energy. So you can just go and be in the woods somewhere and by the ocean, and just really be and feel, and feeling your emotions. That's also feminine. Um, just being, not having like anything to do, just like staying in your bed for an extra half an hour once your kids are in school. um, just really slowing down. Slowing down is really hard in a fast-paced world, but slowing down is such a nurturing thing for women. Also, self-pleasuring, so connecting to your sexual energy. Basically, if you're dating right now and you start self-pleasuring a lot, that's going to definitely increase your attractiveness and magnetism, because you're going to have that sort of that that energy, that vibe of like pleasure and enjoying yourself, and that's very attractive. So having orgasms, and things like yoni. So anything that basically working with your yoni, vagina, which is vagina, anything that helps you to connect to her and start feeling more of your connection. That's gonna really help with strengthening your feminine energy and magnetism. So anything that has to do with dancing or moving your body, but more like slow kind of flow yoga, not like a very like very strong workouts, more like slower pace workouts, kind of like with feeling your body. Anything with beauty, creating beauty, putting on nice dress or earrings or anything, creating beauty with yourself or beauty around you. Receiving pleasure, any kind of pleasure. So maybe that's another takeaway you can do from this class, is that just think of one thing that brings you like pleasure, like you really enjoy. It doesn't need to be sexual, just that you really love and enjoy doing. Like for me, it's chocolate. I love chocolate. So having like some tea with chocolate, oh, that just sounds, so you can sense there's this energy of pleasure, right, arises when you even think of doing something you love. So another thing I love is being in the sun, and when it's warm and feeling the sun on my skin. So think of something that it is for you, or note it down, and you can do it later today or tomorrow. Yeah, and yeah, what's if you think about what's your favorite way? What is it that for you really works? Like for me, it was for a long time, my practice was really like attending women's circles and doing non-mind involving things with the body, kind of like dancing, slowing down, being in nature. Those are all great ways. You can put it in the chat. Let me see. Yeah, okay. You can put in the chat of your favorite way to connect to feminine energy. We can all share. And you can just even feel right now. So right now we are in a group of women, and we can just feel like, well, what is it like to be together, and just to even online to come together and really feel this space. And so another, yeah, swimming and sauna. Yeah, the sauna, that's another one, right? Like banya. That's a great one. We have banya at our house, and I do this women's circle banya. So we all kind of, we're all naked in the sauna and it's just like, oh, it's so good. It's all this feminine energy. I love it. And we like scream and, sing. Yeah, banya, sauna or banya is a beautiful one. And we also, one of the really important aspects of the feminine is connection to your heart. So especially like in dating, and that's why I kind of talk about sexuality, confidence, and love. So three pillars of good dating life. So you're confident in yourself, and actually I did a class on confidence yesterday. So if you I can send you a recording if you want to check it out. So confidence, sexuality, kind of open, and then your heart is very important. Like if you wanna attract someone in your life and have a loving relationship, then you can't do it with your heart closed. It's in the part of feminine energy is emotions and feeling your emotions, which involves allowing yourself to feel and allowing yourself to be sensitive to the world, which is hard if you've ever been hurt, or if and we've all been hurt. And that's kind of the path of the heart, the magnetism of the heart, of the woman's heart. That's where I feel like there's a lot of work. Well, the sexuality, there's a lot of work, but this one is I guess my favorite, where you start disarming and start to really come into your vulnerability, so you can create this intimacy and love in your life, whether or not you have a partner right now or not. Sometimes people have a partner, but it's still not intimate. It's like not emotionally connected. And so when we open the heart, when we all feel our emotions, we can start really give and receive love. And then in dating, we can also really meet someone who's ready to love, who also has an open heart, and who can be there, in this loving relationship. And this involves loving ourselves first, because we can't be a match for love from outside if we don't have love inside. So that's really the first step. And that's why I really like to do it in kind of in the program way, because how right now I'm sharing this information, and maybe it's like, oh, interesting, but then it takes time to integrate it and to make it your life, right? To really embody it and to really apply those things. And in order for you to do that, probably most people need some support or some container for them to do this work. So the heart is really where the love is, but the magnetism arises, fueled by sexuality, and rises through the heart. So if you think like through the body, it's like through the second, if you know the chakras, it's second chakra, womb area, and then to the heart. So that's on heart and feeling our emotions. And I think that's it. Yeah. So now I'm going to turn off the recording now, so maybe people have some questions. But the next step would be stay connected to me on Facebook or on Instagram. My name is Iryna Aronov. I also have a free Facebook group on, it's called Whole Woman. So stay connected. So I try to do lives where I kind of keep offering some ideas and inspirations and teachings. And I also would like to offer you a complimentary session to integrate this lesson. So that's a way for me to get to know you deeper and connect a little more. So we can spend like half an hour just talking about how this lesson was for you, this what landed, what didn't land, and how can you apply this in real life, right? So we talked about concepts, and now you can say, okay, so how do I apply it in my real life, in my dating situation? Maybe something resonated, maybe something didn't. So we can do it in this complementary session. And for me, just, I enjoy meeting new people through this, through doing this. So I'll be honored to talk to you. I'm gonna share the sign up link here. And I'm gonna turn off the recording, and you can come live and ask me a question if you have any, or any feedback.